Hey, it's Sri here. In today's video, if your husband has decided that he wants to separate, I'm going to teach you specifically how you can reclaim your power so you can make the best decision as to whether you should stay or whether you should leave. Now, before we dive in, I just want to let you know that I'm opening up some free spots to my masterclass training where I walk you through the 3 steps that my client Sarah used to be able to save her marriage in less than 60 days. You're going to really enjoy it, so make sure you stick around to the end and I'll explain all the details on how you can gain access. Now make sure you click the subscribe button below so that every Sundays and Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you'll gain access to all of my new videos that talk you through how you can go about saving your marriage, understanding more about male psychology, and improving yourself as a person as well. Now, if you haven't met me before, my name's Sri Rajasekar and I help women from all over the world to be able to save their marriage on their own, but to be able to awaken their goddess within and specifically learn more about male psychology so you can get to know your husband or partner better than he knows himself. Now, I get it. If your husband has said that he wants a divorce or he wants a separation, it's going to turn your world upside down. And I can only imagine the sort of pain that you're probably going through at this moment in time. But it's really important that you get to a place of clarity in your own mind. And in particular, in order to reclaim some of the power and some of the decision making within yourself. Because naturally, when he says that, when he says he wants a divorce or separation, that immediately means that he essentially is dictating terms, that he's going to be the one that determines the future of this relationship or marriage, which means that you essentially have no power and no control of the circumstances. But what we really want to be doing here is we want to flip the script a little bit. And we want to turn it around so that you can actually start to empower yourself. And I don't mean by any kind of manipulation tactics or anything like that. It means that you want to empower you so that you can make the best decision for your future and for the future of your family as well. And often when someone says that they want a divorce or a separation, it means that you're going to end up in a position where you're going to do whatever that person needs you to do in order to change, but that may not be for the greatest good of everyone concerned. So what you want to be doing now is ask yourself 6 important questions that are going to help you to reclaim your power, to reclaim your worth, and to help you to make the best decision moving forward and help you to navigate your way through this really difficult situation. Now, the first question that you need to ask yourself is, what do you want? Now, when someone wants to separate or have a divorce, what you want is often forgotten completely. It always ends up being about what the other person needs. And it's natural, especially amongst women, because they tend to experience a lot of guilt. And they feel like, maybe they were too assertive, maybe they were too dominant, maybe that they were too passive and so forth. And I'm sure if you're watching this, it's probably going to resonate with you a little bit, because every woman that I've ever spoken to when it came to their marriage or relationship falling apart always had a sense of guilt that they had to deal with. So the first thing you want to be understanding is, what is it that you actually want? What do you want in your marriage? What is most important to you? And if you were to look back over the years, has that relationship or marriage been a reflection of what you've truly wanted? Or have you felt like you've had to adapt yourself in order to meet the needs of your husband or partner? Getting clear on what you want and how you wish to move forward is so crucial and something that so many people forget to do. So the first step is get really clear on what it is that you want for your future if you were to move forward with this marriage. And secondly, you want to understand, what is it that you think your partner wants or needs? What is it that he's actually crying out for? When he says that he wants a divorce or separation, it's ultimately because certain needs aren't being met. But if you actually can get clear on what is it that he's actually needing or wanting, then you can start to deliver at that particular level. You can start to recognize, okay, well, how often have I been doing those things over the years? And if you haven't, it's not about stepping into blame for yourself. It's just about taking a level of responsibility. And that's a good thing. When we take responsibility, it means that we can take control of the situation and start to empower ourselves to make the best decisions for our future. So getting clear on what you think he actually wants and needs is a very, very important step in being able to progress forward and to allow the marriage or the relationship to flourish at the level that it needs to in order to create a sustainable approach. Because it's not about just making short-term fixes, it's about creating the foundations for a long-term sustainable marriage. That's where the magic happens. And thirdly, are you prepared to accommodate those particular needs? Now, remember that a relationship is all about two parties that are involved. And it's really important to understand that even if your husband has certain needs, that doesn't necessarily mean that you should just bend over backwards to continuously meet those needs all the time. Because there are occasions where certain needs simply aren't acceptable. Now, I remember speaking to a client once who was going through a really extreme situation in her marriage. Her husband was expecting certain sexual activities that she just wasn't prepared to engage in. But she felt wrong. She felt that she wasn't actually worthy of attracting anyone else. So she felt like she needed to adhere to those behaviors in order to keep this man. And quite frankly, in those situations, it's not necessarily healthy for you to keep meeting those needs. Very important to remember that you've got to ask yourself, are you prepared to accommodate the needs and wants of your husband or partner? And if you are, fantastic. If you're not, if you feel like they go against what you stand for as a person, then that's when you need to decide, is this a marriage or relationship that I actually want to be part of? Is it something that I want to continue on moving forward? And it's okay if it isn't, but you shouldn't be doing things just because you don't want to lose something. You don't want to lose the marriage. It's about making sure that you're moving forward with this person because they actually help to elevate you as a person. They help you to become the best version of yourself, not just you trying to cling on for them because you don't want to lose this marriage and maybe deal with the stigma of divorce or whatever the negative thoughts are going through your mind at this moment in time. Now, fourthly, who do you have to become in order to create the relationship or marriage that you truly want? So for example, let's say you've had to deal with some anger issues. And whenever you're having conversations with your husband or partner, it ends up resulting in some massive explosion. And you guys, end up getting into World War III. Now, if that's the case, and you're always finding yourself getting on the defensive and being reactive to certain behaviors and getting really angry and assertive towards him, and that's something that's caused a lot of problems in your relationship or marriage, then you need to ask yourself, am I prepared to become the sort of person that can release some of that anger and let it go? Or release some of the jealousy or the anxiety, etc., etc. Whatever those behaviors are that are causing a lot of the problems in the relationship, you want to understand, who do I need to become in order to create that extraordinary relationship or marriage? That's a very important step to understand. And when you understand who it is that you need to become, then you can take the steps that you need to take in order to move forward and actually adapt and become the best version of you, because that's really what this is about. Remember, a relationship is often a reflection of our own insecurities. So if we're dealing with a whole bunch of insecurities in ourselves, a relationship will always reflect that. So this is a huge opportunity for you to grow as a person as well. So understand, who do I have to become in order to create the relationship or marriage that I truly want? And number 5 is, are they capable of stepping up? Now, when a relationship is going through challenges, yes, I believe that one person can influence so much change. But the other thing to remember is the other person actually capable of stepping up? Or are they completely fixed in their own ways? Are they not prepared to make any kind of changes in their life? One of the things that's really important for me is that both me and my wife are committed to continuing to grow ourselves. So even if one of us is going through some challenges, the other person is willing to step up and deliver at the level that they need to. It's very important to have that sort of dynamic, because if it's only one person that just wants to make the change, and at some point the other person isn't willing or capable of making any of those changes, and they're fixed in their own ways, and there's no sign whatsoever of them stepping up, then it's going to constantly feel like one-way traffic. Yes, I believe that one person can influence change and can start to make massive shifts, and that results in the other person changing, but that's only on the assumption that the other person is capable of making those changes. And so you need to ask yourself, based on what you know about your husband or partner, are they capable of making the changes that they need in order to create an extraordinary marriage relationship between the two of you? Ask yourself that question and trust in your own gut and your own intuition, and also the information that you've gathered over the years as to whether he's actually going to be prepared to step up. And finally, are your core values aligned? Now, what do I mean by this? You know, when I initially got together with my wife, just before that, about a month before, I put together a list of everything that I wanted in a woman, everything I didn't want. And when we got together, I remember kind of going through this list, and she actually did the same exercise afterwards. And we noticed how aligned we were in terms of our core values. But there were some things that didn't really matter. Like, she loves Harry Potter and I love trance music, and we're not really aligned on that level, but they're not big deals. Whereas those core fundamentals that we had, that'll be operating with integrity, operating with respect, having a genuine interest in learning about each other, supporting each other for our highest good, etc., etc. These core fundamental values that are within each of us are so aligned that it doesn't matter if we run into any problems, because we know that we can get through it, because we have these rock solid foundations. Whereas I see a lot of relationships and marriages, even that have been together for 20 years and even don't actually know each other that well and don't have much support underneath in terms of the foundations. They don't have strong foundations at all. So you've really got to make sure you understand, are your core values aligned? Are you guys on the same wavelength? You know, is he more interested in external gratification and constantly getting his ego stroked by other people, whereas you're more interested in just kind of knuckling down and doing the things that you need to do, and external gratification is not that big a deal to you, and so on. Very important to understand these core fundamentals and these foundations, because they're going to give you clues as to whether this marriage is going to be something that can actually stand the test of time or not. Now, naturally, when you go through some of these questions, it's going to create probably a little bit of confusion. You're not going to be sure if you're doing it the right way. So for that reason, I've created my free masterclass training where you can walk through and learn the 3 steps that my client Sarah used to be able to save her marriage in less than 60 days. You're going to absolutely love it. So just click on the link below so you can register for the masterclass. Just choose a time that works for you and play full out, and I promise you're going to get a ton of information. And make sure you stick around to the end so you can get access to a free gift that I know you're going to absolutely love. And secondly, in the description section below, you'll see a link to my private Facebook group. Just click on it, request access, and I'll give it to you, and you can connect with me and some other incredible souls who have been able to make some remarkable shifts in their relationship or marriage. And you can use that as a source of inspiration as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you've liked it, hit the like button below. If you want to get more videos like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And if you want to learn the 4 behaviors you want to avoid in order to save your marriage, click this video above. If you want to make sure you learn 3 tips to manage your emotions while going through challenges in your marriage, make sure you click this video above. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon.